Wow. So many people already here. That's ridiculous. Alright. Hey guys, what's up? What's up, stream? What's going on? Trying to adjust my mic here. My cat is here for some reason. Hopefully she doesn't bother me. What's up, guys? What's up? Thank you guys for tuning in. We actually it's listed as Overwatch. Hold on. It shouldn't be. They recommend a game title. Since I'm gonna be showing Timefall clips, I'm just gonna put Timefall. There you go. It should be changed now. Tell me if you guys can hear me, and can you hear a little bit of the music in the background. I would also like to know is if the audio is too loud or anything, so I can just adjust the audio. What's up, Time Blobs? Let me send the link to the stream to my Twitter. Hold on, I'm just trying to figure some things out real quick. Hold on, hold on. We're gonna start real soon, guys. We're gonna start real soon. So Time Blobs, I'm guessing that thumbs up means that audio and everything else is good. Alright, thank you, thank you. Okay, that's good. Okay. Hold on. Yeah, I switched it to Titanfall 2 because that's gonna be the clips I'm gonna show you guys that I'm gonna be using for the guide. I forgot where I'm supposed to go for to share this, to share the live stream. I'm looking for the link. Okay, there you go. View on watch page. There it is. Okay, there you go. View on watch page. There it is. Okay. Now let me put it on my Twitter, and then I'm gonna start. Okay, so for my processor, I have an i7 4790K. For my GPU, I'm using a GTI. No, not GTI. GTX 1070. I'm using a GTX 1070. That's what I'm using. All right. This is my Twitter. This is where I'm reading everything. All right, that's fine. Here we go. But when you want to record while using Cine 2 time for 2 drops, that should not happen. That should not happen. Because this is what you want to do, right? when you're about to record your cinematic, don't open the cinematic tool until you load in the game. Wait till you load into the map where you want to record your cinematic. Then open up the cinematic tool. Make sure that it says camera found. And then when you are sure you're about to record the cinematic, hit the record button with shadow play or something. And then it should actually work. That's how I do it for me, and I've never really had issues. Sometimes when you're actually recording for a long period of time, the game time filter just goes back to the main menu. So you basically have to restart the game and retry the cinematic tool again. But it should not do that. Hey, what's up, Liam Bailey? Yeah, try it with lower graphics. What do you use? Do you use what processor and what GPU do you use? Alright, we're gonna start. Okay, so this is what After Effects looks like when you first open it up. Now, in terms of how you guys want to acquire After Effects, you're gonna have to use YouTube or Google to find out how you can get that. Okay, you have a GTX 1050 Ti. It should work. It should work. Can I show my OBS settings too? Okay. These are my OBS settings, but that does not really matter. Let's focus on the editing guide. Alright, so this is After Effects. This is what happens when you first open it up. This section is a section where you're gonna put your video files and all that stuff. That's where you're gonna put all your video files, your audio files, and all the things you're gonna want to put into the editing process. So that's step one. This section right here it's called the timeline. This is where you're gonna put your video and your audio and start basically going to work with the edit. This section right here is where you have the preview controls. This is basically where you press play, go back. Let me open it up more. This is the settings of the preview. I don't really have a video right now, so it doesn't really highlight anything. But this is where you go to control the frame rate you want your video the video preview to play at, and stuff like that. And there's a little section below it. This is where all your effects and presets are. Presets are basically like when you basically use an effect and you have your own settings to it, you can save it as a preset so that when you log back into After Effects, you can basically use the preset that you saved, so that you don't have to re-add the settings to that effect again. So this is the area where you go when you want to look for effects. All right. Now, first thing you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to start a composition. All right. You're gonna want to go to composition, new composition, and then you're gonna name it. I'm gonna call it main. And then this is gonna be the resolution of the video. The default one that everybody uses is 1920 by 1080p. So that means that the video is gonna be at 1080p. I would suggest that if you're editing a montage, always stick with 1080p or higher. Don't go below, because nowadays with the standards are you want your video to be minimum 1080p. You don't want it to be lower than 1080p because the quality is not going to be that great. So it's either 1080p or higher. And when it comes to frame rate, right here, you always want your montages to be at time blocks. Yes, After Effects is definitely worth the price. It's one of the best editing programs when it comes to editing videos. So yeah, back to what I was saying. So for montages, you want your videos to be, you want it to be 30 frames. so that it looks more cinematic. It looks really professional. 60 frames per second montages don't really look that cool. When you're watching it, you don't sometimes you don't even feel like you're watching a montage. You feel like you're just watching a highlight video, like a bunch of clips put together and then you put a music behind it. You don't really feel like you're watching a montage. So you always want your montages or your little mini edits to be at 30 frames per second. 30 frames. Some people, they actually do montages at 24 frames per second. Some even go even lower by 15 frames per second. But the default one that every or most editors use is 30 frames per second. And you'll see why. Your clips may be recorded at 60 frames per second, which is actually recommended also. Whenever you're recording your gameplay and stuff, you want it to be 60 frames per second, especially if the game runs at 60 frames. If the game is runs at 30, okay, you can record it at 30. But if your game runs at 60 frames per second or higher, you want to record at 60 frames per second. Do I have media encoder? Yes, I do. But I don't really use it when I'm rendering my videos. Okay, so 30 frames per second. We're done with that, and this is the duration of your video. Since this is gonna be a small edit, I'm just gonna use 5 minutes, but it's not really gonna be a 5-minute edit. I just want to have a lot of space on my timeline, so I'm gonna keep it at 5 minutes default. All right, and once you put all the settings required for the whole composition, you press OK. And now you have the timeline highlighted, and now you can add your videos and stuff like that. So to add your video files and your audio files, you're gonna want to go to project right here, and as you guys can see, since we created a new composition, it's automatically put here in the section to where you're gonna put all your files. And that's why it's called project, because these are gonna be all the files you're gonna add into the project. All of them are gonna be here. How am I rendering when I'm not using media encoder? Well, you can always render. There's two ways to render. You can render using media encoder, or you can render using the program itself. There are two ways to render: using After Effects, or if you're using Adobe Premiere Pro, you can use Adobe Premiere Pro to render. And the other way is media encoder. But I don't really use media encoder because it's so fast. For me, it's quicker to render it using After Effects itself. Yes, I export my video as AVI because AVI gives me the highest quality and it renders the fastest because it's not really compressing anything. When I record with AVI, when I render with AVI, it's rendering an uncompressed video. But the one negative is the file is gonna be a huge file, like probably 20 gigabytes or more. That's why after I render in AVI, I use this program called Handbrake, which basically will convert the AVI file into an MP4 file. Alright, so we're gonna add our videos. What you have to do is you either right click, import, right here, or you go to File, Import, and you select multiple files. If you're adding multiple files, if you're adding one file, you select File. So I'm gonna go here, Import multiple files, and I made a folder for this. Hold on. It should be, hold on, there it is, this folder. Alright, I already know which videos I'm gonna use, so I'm gonna select them. This one, and this one. Alright, so these, I'm gonna import all my videos that I'm gonna use to show you guys how to edit. So I have 3. Oh, the program to export, it's not really to export, it's to convert. The program to convert into MP4 is called Handbrake. I'm gonna open it up right now. Handbrake. HANDBRAKE. Let me type it in for you. Alright. Okay, so I have all my videos added. Now, in order to make sure everything here looks neat, I usually like to make a new folder and name it clips. And then I drag all my clips into it. So now this looks neater. Everything is organized. So now I'm going to add the music and the audio files that I'm going to be using for this little mini edit. Alright, so I have the song here. I have these sound effects. I have the Kraber Sniper sound. And I have another sound effect. All that added in. We're done. I'm going to make a new folder again. Call this one music. I'm going to add Odessa in there. The song. Yeah, Handbrake. Okay. Now I'm going to make a new folder again. Call that sound effects or SFX for short. I'm going to put all the sound effects into the SFX folder. Boom. Alright. So now everything looks organized. Clips are going to be in here. The music file will be in here. And the sound effect is going to be in here. Alright. So that's it for adding the files that you're going to use for the whole edit. Now, the first thing I usually like to do is bring the music in the timeline first. What you do is you either double click. Actually, you don't double click. You drag it into the timeline. Drag it into the timeline. Alright. And now the music file is here. And in order to make sure that the music is at the start of the timeline, I'll just drag it here. Drag it. Alright. So this is the whole song. I'm not going to use the whole song. I'm just going to use a section for the whole song. Where did I get the Kraber sound? Okay, this is what I went into a private match, found the quietest section in the map, a section in the map that does not have a lot of background noise. So you kind of want to stand still a little bit and try to listen to the background noise. If there's not a lot of background noise and it's a very quiet area, I scope in, I shoot, and then once I'm done, and you also have to be recording too. So you go, you jump in, and as soon as you're ready to shoot your Kraber, you hit the record button, and then you shoot, and then you stop recording, and then what you do is you go to an editing program, or yeah, you go to an editing program, or you go to somewhere where you can convert video to audio, right? What I do is I go to an editing program, I put the video in, but I only render out the audio. I don't show the video. I only render out what I recorded, the audio of what I recorded. And then I made the Kraber sound into an audio file. That's how I get my Kraber sound. Alright, so yeah. Now with the music, right here, the first thing I like to do is to listen to it to know where I'm going to start my first clip. Alright, but before that, I'm going to show you guys this section for every file, right? So whenever you put a file here, it becomes a layer. So now this is the first layer that I'm working with. This is layer 1, which is the music. And every layer has an option to where you can mess around with it. So if you click this little triangle here, it'll bring out the audio settings. And audio levels is the volume of the audio. So you see how it says 0, 0 means that's the default volume for the audio. And if you go with the values, if you mess around with the values, you go back. When you go into the negative numbers, that means you're basically you're lowering the volume. And I think if you go to -50, that's when you completely silent the audio. And then if you go plus in values, you're making the audio louder. But at 0, the audio is at default sound. Alright. That's it for that. And here, something very important. Every audio file, any file that you put in your timeline that has audio in it, it has this option to where you can see the waveforms of the audio, which is this. And these are very important when you're trying to sync a beat with a shot in the clip. All right, these are very important. Usually if you go here, right here in the main, and you click this little thing right here, it will have this thing checked, rectified audio waveforms. It will have it like that. Whenever you look at the waveforms when you first start, it will look like this. You don't want it to look like this. So in order to change it, you want to go to here and then uncheck rectified waveforms. So now they actually look like this. This gives you a better perspective of when you're actually gonna mark where you need to sync your shots. All right. And in terms of the timeline, when you want to zoom in, if you want to zoom in to see the waveforms a little bit better, you either click this button right here. This is where you zoom in, right here, and you get to see the waveforms a little bit better. Or you click on Alt on your keyboard and you press scroll up to zoom in on the mouse. Scroll up on the mouse, or scroll out to zoom out. Scroll up, scroll down to zoom out. All right. So I want to see the waveforms a little bit better. I'm lagging right now. Hold on. Okay. This right here, it tells me that there's gonna be a big beat. This tells you whenever you see the line like this, that means that there's a quiet area in the song, and then there's gonna be a big beat right here. I know I'm gonna use this for something. All right. So in order to mark that you're gonna use this area of the song for a beat, for a shot or something, you click on this little thing in the corner, you drag it, and then you mark it. This is how I sync every beat in the music to know that if I'm gonna use it for a shot in the clip. All right, I put it here. I know I'm gonna use this marker right here for a beat with a shot. All right. I don't even have to listen to the songs. I know that this is gonna be a beat. But first thing you do is you listen to the song. If you already know the song prior to starting the edit, then you should know where you're gonna start your first clip. But for me, I'm gonna listen to it real quick. Let me stop the music. We're gonna listen to it, and I'm gonna try to figure out where I'm gonna start my first clip. All right, let's listen to it. Hopefully it's not too loud. Okay, it might be too loud for you guys. Hold on. I don't want it to be too loud. All right. Okay. All right, now I know where I'm going to start it. I'm going to start it here. Alright, this is the first beat right here. I'm going to mark it like I did with the other beat. Now I know that this is where I'm going to put my first clip below this. That's where I know. Now I have that marked. And there's a bunch of beats in the middle before this beat, so I'm going to have to mark them to know where I'm going to put the shots. Alright, so that's the first step you want to do when you're about to edit a montage. If you plan on syncing, which is recommended for montages, especially when you're using snipers, you kind of want to go to the route where you're syncing the shots with the beats in the song or with the tunes in the song, because it will just end up making the montage look really cool and more professional looking. Alright, so this is the first beat. This is where I know I'm going to start my first clip, so I can rename it by right clicking settings. I'm going to call it first clip. Okay, first clip will be here. I know that as soon as I hit this little part, this part right here, which is marked, I'm going to drag my video and I'm going to put it here. Alright, now as soon as you're done with that, you know where you're going to start. Now what you want to do is you want to start testing the clips to see if they will work with that section of the song. Now you start testing. I know this clip right here is a triple kill. I got like a triple kill with the Kraber. So I'm gonna drag it in, just like I dragged the audio before. Now my video. This is gonna be the second layer, which is gonna be my first clip. And I know the clip is gonna start here. So this is where it's gonna start. Right here. Alright. And something I recommend you guys do is, if you're recording a montage where you're using snipers only, mute the video, mute the clips. Mute the clips. Because you're gonna be using the Kraber shot sound file anyway, which I also recommend. If you're gonna do an edit to where you're gonna be using a sniper, try to get the audio file for the sniper's shot sound separately. That's gonna help you a lot. That's gonna make the editing process much easier. So you want to mute it, so now when I play it, it's not gonna be playing the audio of the clip at all, because I'm gonna be using the Kraber shots for every Kraber shot in this clip. Okay, so now you're gonna want to test to see if this clip will work with this section of the song. So now let me play it, and I'm gonna watch the clip to see if it's gonna work. Okay, so this will work because there's a lot of beats in between here that I can actually sync really well with the song. I mean, yeah, with the song. So now I need to find that beat to where I'm gonna match that Kraber shot right here. I'm gonna try to find it. Which beat will it be? So I'm gonna uncheck the eye here. The eye is basically this. If you click on it, you won't be able to see the video anymore. If you click back in, the eye, that's what the eye means. The eye means that's what allows you to see the video. If you have it unchecked, you can't see the video. If you have it checked, you can see the video. So I don't want to see the video right now. I just want to hear the sounds. I'm going to click on that. Let me listen to it to see where I'm going to add the first shot. Okay, this will be the first shot. This one. Right here. Alright. Now that I know this will be my first shot, I'm gonna mark it. I'm gonna name it first shot. Alright. First shot. Now I'm gonna look at the video again. Now I'm gonna drag which section in the video the first shot happened, and boom. Right here, it's all matched up. The video will start here actually. So now that, because I want the video to start here, I'm just gonna drag this right here so that I can't see, so that this part of the video will not be seen anymore. Alright, so now when I play it, wow, look, just because I actually matched up the first shot, I listened to the music as the clip kept going, and I noticed that the other two shots will actually be able to sync really well with the beats. So this right here, that's a beat that could actually be used for a shot. So this will be shot number 2. I don't really need to rename it for the other shots, because when I'm gonna look back, I'll know that this is the first shot, and 2 means second shot, 3 will mean third shot. Alright, so the second shot will be here. Let's listen to it. This will be the third shot. Yeah, editing takes a long time. You have to do a lot of trial and error, which is what I'm doing here. It's a lot of trial and error, a lot of testing. That's why it takes. That's why when you see my montages, it does not mean that I did it in like a few days. It takes a long time. It takes a lot of testing, a lot of trials and error to figure out the best way it's gonna look so that the viewers can enjoy it. Okay, so this will be the third shot. Okay. Now when you look at it, first shot, second shot, third shot. Wait, hold on. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, third shot. So now, in order to sync everything perfectly with the marks, I'm gonna have to mess around with the video, and this is gonna be something very very important for those of you watching. This is gonna be very important. You have to right click on the video, go to time, click time remap, enable time remapping. Boom. And as you guys can see, once we do that, it brings up two dots. This first dot means is the beginning of the video. This dot right here means it's the end of the video. So what those two dots mean, or diamond, or whatever you want to call them, they mean they are called keyframes. Keyframes, and this is the part of the edit that I'm gonna try to explain to you what keyframes mean. Keyframing. Keyframing is very important, and what most editors use to sync the shots to the beat of the songs. That's what most editors do. Most of the montages you watch, especially if the montage is really well synced, this is how the editors. This is what basically the editors use to make sure that everything was synced up properly. So that's what time remap allows you to do. It allows you to sync a section of the video to a point where you want to sync it. All right, which for me it will be these marks right here, which indicates beats in the song. All right, here we go. So we have the keyframes here. Now when you go to the left side here, you see this little clock. This clock means this clock allows you to keyframe. It allows you to keyframe everything. If I click on it, it will remove the time remapping thing. But as you guys can see here, the clock is not really highlighted here. But it is highlighted here. It's because there's already keyframes here which came with time remapping. But with the song, if I click on the clock here, it will add a keyframe. And you can do this with multiple things. You can do this, you can use keyframes with picture files, video files, and audio files. So whenever you click on the clock, that means you add a keyframe to whatever the layer is. Alright? I don't really need it here, so I'm not gonna put a clock here. Okay. So in order to add a keyframe to an existing layer that already has keyframes, you click on this. It says add or remove keyframe at current time. If I click on it, it adds a keyframe. I don't really need it right now, so I'm gonna undo. Either go to edit, undo, add keyframe, or you press Control Z. In my case, I already know the shortcuts. Control Z. All right, and it removes it. Okay. All right. Now I'm gonna go to the first point, which is gonna be the first shot, right here. Add keyframe. So this shot means it's a keyframe that's gonna sync with the first marker here, which is the first beat for the first shot. Now I need to look to see the first shot is, which is when that orange fire thing appears. That's gonna be the second shot. Add a keyframe, but as you guys can see, it's not lined up with the marker. So what I do is I drag it so that it's perfectly lined up. And as you guys can see, before it looked like this. Whenever you drag it, it just drags that point of the video where you marked. Alright. For the third shot, it already happened. Now I need to go back a couple steps backwards. This is the first shot. This is the third shot right here. Keyframe it, and it's not lined up. Line it up. There you go. So now when we replay the video again, now we're gonna see that the shots are perfectly synced with the beats which are marked. Let's play it up. There you go. There's a lot of noise in the background. My sister is talking a lot. But yeah, here you go. Tell me if the noise in the background is bothering you guys so I can tell it to lower her voice. Alright, yeah. So the shots are perfectly lined up. So now that's gonna be it for the first clip. The shots are perfectly lined up with the beats. Okay? Now I need to figure out what to do. I missed a shot here. So the clip is, I know the clip is gonna end right here when I pull the thing. That's where the first clip ends. So I don't need this last section of the clip. So I drag it. And it's done. Now I'm gonna put a second clip and see if it's gonna work with any of the beats from here to here. Alright, this is a one-shot clip right here. I'm gonna drag it. I'm gonna put it over this. This will be the second clip. Right here. Remember to mute the video. Since I'm still using Kraber, I don't really need the audio background that much. Hold on. Hold on real quick. Karen! Can you lower your voice? Alright, I'm back. Okay. And as you guys remember, for every time you put a video, you're gonna be using the time remap to sync the shot with the beat in the song. So first step you need to do when you bring in another clip, you use the time remap again. And then you see the keyframes here. Beginning of the video, end of the video keyframe. Alright. Now I'm gonna play it and see if the shot will match with any of the beats here. Let me try to see which beat will work. Alright. This beat right here, I'm gonna use that for the shot. Okay? I'm gonna mark it. I'll name that clip 2 shot. Alright. Now I need to find the shot so I can line it up with this beat. Find it. There it is. And then keyframe it. Boom. And now this part of the video I don't need anymore. So there you go. This will be where the second clip starts. Now when we play it, the shot will match up with the beat. There you go. Sorry, Jermaine. What's up, Jermaine? How you doing, man? Appreciate you checking out the stream. But good night, man. You have to go to sleep, so it is what it is. Blobs, no. This is just for the editing guide video. Just for that. I don't plan on using this song for a montage. I just wanted to show you guys the basics of how I edit so that you guys can get an understanding on how to edit montages and stuff like that. This is just a sample. It's just a sample of that. So yeah. So I lined up the shot for the second clip. It's only a one shot clip anyway, so I don't really need the rest. Now I need to work with the third one. I'm gonna add the video. As soon as it's here, enable time remapping so I can see the keyframes. And then I know this beat will be a shot. And since this is another one shot clip, which is a ridiculous clip anyway, I'm gonna line it up with the shot for this beat right here. Let me actually show you guys what the beat sounds like. Alright. It's a big loud beat. So now, just like I did before, I'm gonna try to find the shot. That's the shot. Hold on. It's not actually lined up really well. There we go. This is the shot. Keyframe. Boom. And just like before, I don't need this part. As soon as this clip is done, this is the next clip. Boom, the shot. Alright. So these are all the clips I'm going to use for this guide. Because if I use more clips, this guide is going to take forever. It's going to take way too long because when I'm editing, man, sometimes it takes days to completely sync every single clip that I'm using. And it's not 3 clips. Some montages have like 30 almost to 40 clips. So it's almost been an hour now, like 40 minutes, just to show you guys how I sync the video with the sound. So I'm just gonna use 3 just to keep it simple. Alright? So that's how you sync shots with the beats of the song. Use time remapping and use keyframes. All these 3 dots means that they're shots. These are the shots for in the video. Shot 2, shot 3 for the second clip. Shot 1, third clip, shot. I keyframe them to know that that's what a shot is, because sometimes you may need to go back to something you edited before, and you're gonna have to fix and make everything look neat. Remember, this is just a draft. This is just a first draft of the clips used, of the syncing of the clips with the beat. There's gonna be more work to be done to make everything look really smooth, but this is just a basic, just to sync shots with the beat of the song. That's how you do it in After Effects. This is like the best way, the most neat way, the most organized way to do it. Alright? So now that I have that done, let's go into other things for montages. So, how do I add the black bars for the montage? The black bars here. Alright? This is how you do it. For those of you that want to know how to add black bars. So you go into the section here, you right click, you go to new, solid. Alright, I'm gonna call that black bars. And you gotta make sure the color is black. Make sure that the color is black, by the way. And boom, now we have black bars. But it basically covered the whole background, because it's above everything. It's above the song. but I can just bring it all the way down. It's below everything. But this is what I use for black bars. I use an effect. Alright, now I'm going to show you guys the first effect used. This is how you want to add effects. And you learn about effects by watching other people's editing guides and other people's edits. That's why if you plan on being a good editor for montages, you want to watch a lot of people's montages so that you can watch and you get an idea of how a montage should look like. Then you can ask the person that edited it some questions like, this section of the montage, how did you do this? How did you do that? And stuff like that. That's how I learned. I learned by watching. I've been watching montages for like 15 years now. Ever since back in 2007 when Halo 3 came out, I watched people's montages. So I've been watching for years. That's how I know how a montage should look like. By watching other montages, I see that you can actually see the level of quality, the difference between a good editor and somebody that's brand new with this. That's how you can tell. Okay? You watch a lot of people. Some people, they actually do have video guides all over YouTube. If you watch those, you will learn a lot. So, this is going to be the first effects used for this. You're going to click on the black bars. Now you're going to look for an effect. The effect that I use to make black bars is called CC Jaws. CC Jaws. I search for it and there it is. I drag it. To add an effect to a layer or a video, you drag it and you put it on what you want to put it on. So I add it on the black solid. It makes everything black here, but that will change soon. So in order to make the black bar, you go to completion. I usually like to use 85%. As you guys can see, it's still black, but we'll change that real quick. Now instead of spikes, you're gonna choose. Actually, it is spikes. Yeah, it's spikes. As soon as you increase the completion, you have to mess around with the height. Hold on, something's not right. Hold on. Something's not right. What's going on here? Hold on. Let me see something. Okay. Okay, it's working with this, but it wasn't working with the solid. Hold on. There we go. Now it's working. For some reason, it wasn't working earlier. But yeah, you increase it to 85. Now you have that. Now in order to make that into like a line, like a big line, you have to mess with the height. You bring it all the way down to 0. And there goes your black bars. Right here. You use the effect called CC Jaws. You put it on a black solid layer that you created by going to New, Solid. You name it whatever you want and make sure the color is black. You press OK. You add CC Jaws. You make sure the completion is how high you want the black bars to be. Mine is usually 85%. And then you make sure the height is all the way down to 0. There goes your black bars. Alright. Okay. So that's how you make black bars. That's how you add the black bars for your montages. Or your edits. Now, for color correction. Because when you watch people's montages, the color, the way the video looks is not usually default. You kind of want it to look a little different. Like the colors, the vibrance, and stuff like that. You kind of want that to look a little different. So what you do is, press New. You make an adjustment layer. Make sure it's below the black bars. All right. And then there is an effect called magic bullet looks. This is going to be an effect you're going to have to download and add it to After Effects. If you want to learn how to do that, there is plenty of tutorials on YouTube for that. All right. Magic bullet looks. Once you find it, you add it to the adjustment layer, and then to find the one that you want, let me find a section in the video where I want to see the background and everything. Hold on. This looks fine. Okay. You click on Edit on Magic Bullet Looks, and it's gonna take you to a different window. So is no one gonna talk in the chat? You guys don't have any questions? I see 4 viewers in here, but no one is really talking. If you guys have any questions, just shoot, and I'll explain them. Okay, you're gonna get into the window that's called Magic Bullet Looks. All right. Now you go to the Looks section right here, and this gives you all these options. All right. Usually it won't have these two because these are settings I added in myself. So let me go to Basic, just select it, and it gives you all these different looks when you go over them. This is called color correction. It's making the video look a little bit different than the default one. All right. This is what all the basic ones look like. I can make it black and white. You can make it cool looking, like a little bit more blue. You can make it look warm, more contrast and stuff like that. Let's look at the cinematic one. These are all different types of look for it. All that jazz. Now, once you find the one that you want, I'm going to use this one. You just click on it, and it has all these settings right here. These are like the tools to make this color correction thing. You use this thing called warm/cool. If I don't need it, I can turn it off. If I don't need diffusion, I can turn that off. If I don't need that one, I can turn it off too. I'm going to keep that one. This kind of messed around with the saturation of the video, how much of the colors pop. That's what the saturation is used for. You can make it more colory or less colory. In this case, he actually made it less colory. All right, and once you're satisfied with how you want the color correction to look like, you press finished, and boom. You said my mic is too quiet? Increase the volume. Because my mic is not quiet, dude. It's not quiet. You should probably find a way to increase the volume on your video. I don't know if it's in max volume for you, then I don't know. Are you using a headset? Hold on, my cat is trying to get inside. Alright. Ty and Blobs, how's the volume for you? This color correction actually works really well with the other videos. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, Gray. If I go high, if I increase the volume more, it might be too loud for blah, but I'm gonna put it at max volume. If that works, that works. Okay, so this is how you mess around with the color correction. But Magic Bullet looks is one of the things, but I usually like to add more stuff, more effects to it to make it look even better. So I'm gonna add something called Sharpen. That's an effect that adds some sharpness into the color correction or into the video. So I'm gonna add Sharpen, and I'm gonna make it 15. Now it sharpens it out a little bit. If I turn it off, when you want to turn off an effect, you have to select the effects thing right here, FX. Turn it off, turn it back on. As you guys can see, there's a little bit more sharpness. All right. The sharpness. Another thing that I like to use. Hold on. Do I need it? I'm trying to think to see if I need it here. No, I don't need it. Usually this is what you want. Sharpness, Magic Bullet looks for your CC. And it looks like that. Or, actually, you know what? Let me use it. I'm gonna add some tint. This is like tint is used to decrease the amount of color in the video. I'm gonna add some tint. I'm gonna make this 17%. If I turn it off, it looks like that. If I turn it on, it looks like that. Alright. There you go. I'm just gonna make this color correction a little bit basic, so this is what it's gonna look like in the end. Okay, good. That's good, Gray. That's good. Alright. So this is color correction, how you do color correction for an edit. Try to get Magic Bullet looks. It's an effect that you can get online, and you can add it to After Effects. Try to put some sharpen, add some tint, and it's gonna look really cool. And why is my mom calling me right now? Hold on, I'll be right back. Hello, mommy. All right, I'm back. You got some jokes, Gray? I see you got some jokes today. All right. So that's how you add some color correction. Now when we play it, It's gonna look a little bit more cinematic. It's gonna look a little bit more cinematic. This thing is really loud. Let me lower the volume. Alright. That's what it's gonna look like. Okay. So this is basically all the basics that I want to teach you guys for the After Effects. But like I said before, there are ways to tweak this to make it look smoother, to make it flow really well with the song. But that's in the advanced. I'm gonna make an advanced video on how to show you guys how to do that. But these are just the basics. So once you're done with that, once you're basically done with this, I'm gonna show you guys how you can render out the video to put it on YouTube and stuff like that. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Gray. Yeah, I decreased the volume, so if that volume is working for you guys, please tell me. I'm sorry about that. Alright. Oh, there's actually one more thing I forgot to show you guys. So make a new adjustment layer, which I just did. There's one more thing that a lot of editors use for montages. It's called Real Smart Motion Blur. That's another effect that you're gonna have to look online to download to use. RSMB. RSMB. Put that in this adjustment layer. What's wrong, kitty? What? My kitty is so needy right now. So needy. Yeah, so I'm gonna put Real Smart Motion Blur. Now, it's basically an effect that makes, as you guys can see, it blurs out. It blurs out some section of the video to make it look really, really, really cool. Cool looking. Really smooth and cool. Alright. So with it turned off, it's like this. It has some motion blur. That's what I used to. Oh, she wants to get out. Hold on. Here, get out. Alright. My cat wanted to leave the room. You guys heard that? Meow. So yeah, yeah. It makes, this is why I suggest to use to use 30 frames per second for your montages, because when you mix 30 frames per second with Real Smart Motion Blur, it makes the video look really good. So I'm gonna play to show you guys how it looks like without Real Smart Motion Blur, and then I'm gonna show you guys how it looks like with Real Smart Motion Blur. All right. That's what it looks like without it. With it turned on, this is what it looks like. Hold on. I'm gonna have to RAM preview this because it's not gonna play directly. Hold on. Let me RAM preview it. What RAM previewing means is that it's just gonna play it. Will you see that green bar? It's gonna load it up, and once it's filled up, that means that I can show you guys the video without any interruption. Alright, let me play it again. Now this is what it looks like with Real Smart Motion Blur on. how smooth it makes everything look now compared to before? Maybe I should just make a video. I don't have enough subscribers to get viewers. Yeah, YouTube. Yeah. YouTube really is a struggle nowadays. I got lucky. I ended up getting Timefall 2. I enjoyed it. And then you know what's funny? It was actually a montage from Game Sager. I don't know if you guys heard of him. He put out a montage for Timefall 2, and I saw it, and then I was like, wow, Timefall 2 looks really fun, because I did play the first Timefall, but when I played the Timefall 2 beta, the pilot movement was so slow. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna enjoy this one compared to how I enjoyed the second one. So I kind of like held back on getting Timefall 2, and once I saw Game Sage's montage, I was like, wow, I may end up getting this game because it looks really fun. So that's how I ended up getting Timefall 2. And when I got it, I played it, and then I realized that sniping is actually really fun. So I looked up on YouTube sniping with Timefall 2, and then I ended up finding out about Benchy back before everyone knew that he was a hacker. Ended up seeing how he uses the Kraber, and I was like, oh, so sniping can actually be done in this game if you use the movement. So I ended up sniping, and then I ended up making my first montage for this game, because I always wanted to make montages for games back when I played, but I just didn't really know how to edit before. So once I wanted to make my first montage for Timefall, I looked online. To see what people used to edit, and I stumbled upon a couple of guides on YouTube. I watched, and then I bought and downloaded After Effects, and I watched their guides, and I kind of experimented with everything, and I learned how to do it. Hey man, appreciate it, Gray. Appreciate it, man. I'm glad I inspired you. So yeah, that's what it's gonna look like. Alright. I have real smart motion blur on. Everything looks like it should look like for a montage. Okay. Before I render the video though, I'm gonna put the gun sounds. So I have to go to sound effects. This is the Kraber sound. And now, since I have every single shot marked, I know exactly where I need to put the shots. This is why you want to be very organized. And the trick to duplicating a file, you can actually duplicate the audio. You can actually duplicate it. You right click. Hold on. It's not really here. You go to edit, and you click duplicate, or you press Control D for a shortcut. So for me, Control D, it duplicated the file, and now I'm gonna drag it to the second shot right here. Boom. I'm gonna duplicate it again. Third shot. Again. One shot. Let me put this here. And then the last one. Duplicate. Boom. There you go. But before I even play it, I'm going to check the waveforms for the Kraber sound. And you do that by doing this. Check the waveforms. As you guys can see, there is no waves here. That means there's no sound here. This is the real spot where the Kraber shot starts. Right here. So now everything is pretty much well done. Boom. Gonna do the same for all the other shots. Actually, wait. Boom. Create a shot right here. Same for those. How much was After Effects when I bought it? It was on sale. I think I got it for 200. How much is it now? Let me check. Yeah, right now it's $239. I got it for $200 when it was on sale. Or you can actually use it some subscription, which is $20 a month. But you know, I paid $200. But I'm gonna tell you this right now. I should not be telling you this, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. There are ways to get it for free. Just look it up on YouTube. All right. Let me finish with these sounds. There you go. Now all the Kraber sounds are synced. Now let me see how loud it is. I don't want it to be too loud. Alright, they're all pretty lined up. Alright, let's play it and let's see what it sounds like. So it sounds okay, but there are ways I can mess around with the sound to make it sound much cleaner, which is like this. So since I want the shot to sound a little bit more beefy, a little bit more, has like a little bit more bass to it, you can kind of like extend the sound. You kind of like stretch the sound to make it sound beefy a little bit. So you right click, you go to time, and you go to time stretch. You see what I mean by you stretch the sound? You time stretch it. And right now it's at 100. 100 means that's the default sound. But if I want to stretch it, I'm going to add some, I'm going to make it more than 100. Let's make it 120. 120. Now let's see what it sounds like. Actually, let me mute the music so you guys can hear it. Sounds a little bit beefy. Let me undo real quick. Okay, this is what it sounds like before. Hold on. This is what it sounds like for regular. But when I stretch it, it's gonna sound a little bit different. Adds a little bit more beef, more bass sound to it. I can actually increase it a little bit more. 130. I actually like the way this sounds. Alright, 130 is good enough. You do a time stretch on 130. Alright. Now, instead of doing it manually to all these sounds, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to remove these. And I'm going to just duplicate this one. I'm going to duplicate it 5 times. Duplicate, 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 duplicate. Now we got 5. Bring this up. Line it up. Bring this up. Line it up. This up. Line it up. There we go. And there we go. They're all lined up. What's the recommended PC requirements for Titanfall 2? Look that up on Google. I don't really know in the back of my head. Echo, no, this is not my G100 montage. This is just a couple clips that I got from playing, and I'm showing you guys how you can actually edit. This is kind of like a basic way to edit a montage that I'm showing you guys right now. I think I've been streaming for an hour and 30 minutes. Okay, so now when we play it again with the audio, with the music on, it's gonna sound cooler. Go. Yeah, that's basically it for audios. For when it comes to the shot audio, all right. You can make it even sound even. You can make it sound even cooler by adding in an effect on the sound. An effect called treble. What is it? Bass and treble. Bass. Yeah, bass and treble. I add that to the audio file. I can increase the bass. The bass of the Kraber shot. Now this is what it's gonna sound like. With it off. With it on. It sounds similar. Let's remove some treble. Let's remove some treble. Yeah. Let's mute the music. Yeah, it sounds super beefy. Super beefy. With it off. With it on. Yeah. So now I'm gonna add it to all the other ones. I can either do this, edit, copy, and I select each one by, if you want to select multiple things, you press Control and then you just click. Control, click, click, click. And then I paste by either press Control Paste or Control V. Do I need an effect on the drop? What do you mean by that? Yes, more beef. Alright. Let's listen to it now. That's what it sounds like. No other ways you can tweak the sound, but these are more advanced, very advanced ways to do it. But these are just the basics. Alright? Now, we're not done yet. There's still a couple things we can do. Now I'm gonna put in some sound effects to make the Kraber shot sound way cooler. It's something called swoosh. Swoosh. It's like a swoosh sound before the shot. I'm gonna look for the highest peak, and I want it to pop up before the shot happens. This is the highest peak of that sound. Now when you play it, it's a swoosh sound. You're gonna hear the swoosh before the shot happened. Let me mute the music. Watch, listen. Now let's listen to it with the music on. Yeah, that sounds cooler, right? That sounds cooler. Yeah, it's like a sports sound before the shot. This is some stuff that a lot of editors use also. They put some swoosh to add more impact. This is done to add more impact to the shot. But in my opinion, both the Kraber and the swoosh sound, they sound a little bit too loud. So I'm gonna decrease it a little bit. Let's go -7 for the swoosh. And for the Kraber, I'm gonna make it -3. Now let's listen to it. Yep, sounds way better. Way better. Alright. We're done with that. And now I'm gonna make all the other Kraber sounds -3 volume. I have them all selected. I'm gonna make them all -3. And then I'm gonna duplicate swoosh, and you remember you do duplication by Control D. So I have 4 more Kraber shots, so I'm gonna duplicate it 4 times. 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna add it here. Bring it. And then look for the waveform so I can line it up right here. Now the swoosh. You always want to find the highest peak of the swoosh sound to line it up before the shot happens. Look for the highest peak of the swoosh. Swoosh. Whoosh. 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 Alright. Let's bring this one. Line it up. Find the highest peak. And by highest peak, I mean look at the waveforms. This is the highest. This is the highest waveform right here. When you look at it. Boom. Let's get this one. Bring it. Look for the highest peak. Done. And that's it. That's it for all of them. Now let's listen to it with the swoosh on all the other shots. Okay, it started glitching a little bit. Let me do a RAM preview. Okay, we're done with RAM previewing. Yeah, there we go. And the last thing we're gonna do is, this is one more sound effect you want to add if there's going to be a very, very impactful shot. Especially when it's very impactful with the music. Like, remember when I told you guys this part right here is a very silent part? Before this shot, this is like the loudest beat in the song too. This beat. So in order to make it sound more impactful, we're going to add in something called build up. Editors use that a lot when it comes to montages also. Build up. I'm going to look at the waveform and find the highest wave so that I can line it up. This is the highest wave, I think. Oh, this is the highest wave. Hold on. I need to find it. This is the highest wave right here. Alright. Now I'm gonna put it before the shot. Straight this dies, wave, I think. Alright, now when you listen to it, let's bring down the volume. It's gonna be really loud for you guys. This is the same volume as the swoosh. Now we play it. Watch how that sounds. Now let's show you guys how it sounds without the music. You're gonna hear something build up, like a build up sound before that shot. That's why I call it build up. It's building up some sound. It's like doing this. That's the type of sound for, as an example. That's what it's actually doing. Alright, listen to it without the music. See, it gives more of an impact to the shot. There you go. Turn the music back on. Now it sounds so much better. It sounds so much better now. Alright. And that's basically it. This is more of a sample on how I edit my montages. I sync the clips, make them match a beat with the song, which I marked. You find the beats in the song, you mark it to a sniper shot, and then you transition into different clips that has shots. You find a shot, you find a beat in the song to mark with the shot. You do the same thing for every single clip, especially when you're doing a sniper montage. That's how I did it for the G100 montage. That's how I did it with the numb montage with shotgun shots. That's how I did it with Mist. I did it the exact same way. You mark your songs. You mark the beats for your song where you're gonna put the shots. You drag in the video. You do time remapping. You have to right click, enable time remapping, and when you do that, it brings up these keyframe points. This is when it usually brings up two keyframe points. That usually means the start of the video and the end of the video. And then when you find your shot, you have to make sure you mark it as a keyframe, and then you line it up with the mark for your beat, for the beat of the song, right here. There you go. You basically do that for every single shot, and you make sure you sync it with the beat of the song, the shot. Once you're done with that, once you're done with syncing the shots with the beats that you marked, you find the Kraber audio or whatever gun you're using, the audio for that. Make sure you line it up to where either the gun started firing or where the one shot popped up. Like, let's just say using a car, an SMG. If you have the audio sound for the SMG, you basically try to find where the first shot of the gun, and then that's why you line it up with the audio of the weapon. Once you do that, if you want your audio to look a little bit different, if you want to add more of an impact to the sound, you go to time, and then you go to time stretch. You add in more values to 100 because 100 is the default sound. You add in a little bit extra to 100 to stretch the audio to make it sound more beefy. When you're done with that, if you like what you like, you keep going, or if you want to add more beef to it, you search for the effect called bass and treble. You give the sound a little bit more bass. When you're done with that, if you want to add more of an impact, you add in swoosh. You add in swooshes, but usually swooshes are used for sniper shots. I don't recommend using swooshes for SMGs and other weapons. Gray, by the time you come back, I'm probably gonna be done with the live stream. Okay? And once you have all the audio and the video, then you're gonna want to add black bars. You do that by creating a black solid. You right click, you go to new, press solid. You name it, black bars. You gotta make sure that the color here is black. You select black. It can't be white. Just make it black. Press OK. It brings in the black bar, and then you search up the effect called CC Jaws. You add that in there. You make sure completion is at 80 or 85, depending on how big you want the black bars to look like. And you make sure that the height is at 0%. Hold on, before I did that. Yeah, it's gonna show these spikes, but you want the spikes to be gone. You can make sure it's 0%. Not 1, 0, and then you're gonna have 2 black bars. That's how you add black bars. And that's how I did it here. And once you're done with that, you want to put in some color correction. You do that by searching up Magic Bullet Looks. If you don't have it with your After Effects, look online on YouTube to know how to get it for After Effects. You put that in there whenever you add it to your adjustment layer. Oh, and by the way, if you're gonna use effects that does not affect the video, the play of the video, you want to make an adjustment layer. Adjustment layers are used to apply effects that will not really affect the video itself. It's just for the looks of the video. Use adjustment layers and then put the effect on it. So once you add a Magic Bullet Looks. Oh, thank you, Time Blob. Thank you for tuning. I hope you learned some of the basics. And if you didn't really fully understand some things, just ask me some questions whenever you rewatch the video. Just put it in the comment section and I'll explain it. Alright? But I hope you learned a little bit here. And it doesn't have to be After Effects for if you're editing. But I hope that what I showed you guys here just shows you a basic of what steps you're supposed to take if you're about to edit a montage. What steps you're supposed to take. It's usually like this. It's just some simple steps. Once you find your music, you have your clips line. You have all your clips. You put the music in the video editing software you're using. You listen to it a couple times. You mark the shots. You mark You mark the parts in the music where you're gonna sync your shot. When you're gonna sync your shot to, you mark it, and then once you have everything marked, you drag in your video, and then you line up the part in the video where the shot happens with the mark that you marked for the song. Alright? You do it that way. These are just the basics. And then once you're done syncing all the shots to the music, you find the audio of the shot, of the gameplay. You found a separate audio file for the sniper or whatever gun you're using, and then you line it up with the music and then make it sound really good. You can actually, you know what's good? You can actually make a montage with Share Factory, because I've used Share Factory before. It does have it does give you the option to cut the video, and I don't know if it gives you the option to add audio. So yeah, that's basically what it is. You find the audio for the Kraber, and then I don't know about CC. I don't know about color correction with Share Factory though. I don't know about that. But yeah, Magic Bullet Looks, you open that up. And then when you go to the looks area, it gives you all these looks. It gives you a bunch of color correction for what you want your video to look like. Alright. And then once you select what you want, you click finished. And then you add a little bit of sharpness. That's called the sharpen effect. You look for sharpen. For some reason it's not finding it. Yeah, you look for sharpen, and then you drag it into the adjustment layer. And adjustment layers are able to take a whole number of effects added to it. Alright? So I have multiple effects on one adjustment layer. You add sharpen, Usually I go with 15, not that much. You don't want it to be super sharp. That just makes it look weird. So just a little bit of sharpness. You don't really have to add tint. I just added tint just to make it look how I want it to look. So these are the basics you want to use for color correction. You don't want your color correction to make the video look crazy. Like, you don't want there to be too many dark parts. You don't want it to be too many bright parts in your color correction. You want a color correction that just looks really simple, really cool. You don't want it to look too crazy. Alright, and then the last thing you want to add, especially if you want your 30 frames per second render to look really cool, you want to add in Real Smart Motion Blur. You can either add the Real Smart Motion Blur to the video, or you can add it to an adjustment layer. But if you're adding it to an adjustment layer, there's a problem with After Effects to where if there's not a black solid in the background, it's gonna affect After Effects. So you kind of want to make sure you have a black solid all the way at the bottom, so that it does not affect Real Smart Motion Blur. Once you're done with that, it makes your video look really cool when you play it. Just like that, it just makes 30 frames per second look cooler. I use Real Smart Motion Blur on all of my montages, all of them. All right, and we're basically done. This is just the basics. I'm gonna have another video where I go more in depth on how to make an edit look more smooth, more professional looking. So yeah, and once you're done with everything, I'm pretty much done. I don't really have that much to show. This is just basic stuff. Once you're done with that, you go to composition. You go to pre-render. This is where you're gonna render the video. You want to make sure it's AVI. Yeah, I don't really like using I don't really like to use rap music that much. I only use it for that non-montage, and there wasn't really that much swearing in it. Alright, so to render, go to OVI. This is where you choose your format for your video. You can either go with AVI, QuickTime, all that stuff. But I go with AVI because it's gonna make the rendering process much quicker. And then once you're done, you kind of want to select where you want to render it. I'm gonna render it here, save it, and then you click render. Oh yeah, and also I forgot to tell you one thing. You see these right here? This stuff? This is very important. This is just gonna dictate what part of the video you want to render. Right here. If I want it to start here, it's gonna start when I'm done rendering the video. It's gonna render from here all the way to here. You kind of want this so that you can tell the program that this is the duration you want the video to render at. And you can also use this for when you want to play a certain point of the video. Let's just say I want to start playing the video from here. I have it start here. If I want it to stop playing in the preview, I'm gonna put it here. So now when I play, I don't even have to have that section selected. When I press play, it's automatically gonna start playing from here. And then it just goes back. All right. So yeah, you kind of want to always make sure the work area thing, you kind of want to make sure that it's selected to where you want to render the video. Alright, so now I'm gonna do it again, pre-render. You can get rid of this. Make it main, save, and then we're rendering. Okay, and that's it. And then it's just gonna render the video. And that's basically the last step when it comes to editing. When you're done editing everything, you're sure that everything is done. You sure you want that's how you want everything to look. The last step is to render it, and that's what it's doing right now. And the rendering process can take the longest. Like for my mist montage, it took almost 20 hours to render because it was a 4K video. And yeah, I'm gonna end the video here. You guys already saw what this looks like. So I'm gonna let it render, and then I'm gonna upload it on my YouTube so you guys can see what the final look of this will look like on YouTube with good quality. So that's basically it for my first editing guide video. This was a long video. I started let me see, this is a whole hour and 47 minutes just to show you guys the basics. Now imagine if I showed you guys everything. It'd probably take 5 hours to show you guys everything. Just for the basic stuff, it took almost 2 hours. This just shows you that editing can actually get very complicated if you don't know what you're doing. Alright, so I'm pretty much done, guys. For those of you that tuned in, thanks for watching. And for those of you that are gonna watch the video when it's out, thanks for watching it. If you guys enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, just write them down in the comment section. And yeah, and I'll find the best way to answer them. I'll probably make another guide video to get more in depth of what I meant when I did whatever step in this video. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.